Hello everyone and welcome to Earp Sister Feels, episode number 21. My name is Kevin Batchelder, and on this video I'm going to be covering two episodes of the show. Episode 304, No Cure for Crazy, and episode 305, Jolene. Appreciate you all checking out the videos, having a blast going through the rewatch of the first three seasons of Wynonna Earp with a focus here on the Earp Sister scenes. Very much enjoy the community aspect of this. Those of you that are leaving video comments, you always bring in new insights. I love, so I'm looking forward to those. And even those of you who aren't video folks but comment on Twitter too. It's so fun to revisit the show and have all of you kind of give me your thoughts. For the first approximately 48 hours after I post these videos on social media, you can be a part of this if you'd like to. No special app needed. You'll see a button down below that says record a reply. If you tap on that, you can record a video, play it back, make sure you're comfortable with it, and then save it and send it to me. And then I put those comments together along with this video and release the final version there on YouTube so everybody can be a part of it. So very much appreciate those folks who take the time to send in comments. And again, even if you're not a video person, replying on Twitter and sharing your thoughts is something I greatly appreciate too. So we have a blast doing this. All right, let's talk about these two episodes. Now, as you know, if you're a big fan of the show and have watched these episodes, you know there's not going to be a ton of Earp Sister scenes in these two. That's why I kind of put them together. They do spend some time, on screen together, but for the most part, this set of episodes is very much leading the plot of where we're going this season. The first one, No Cure for Crazy, is basically the Mama Earp episode to kind of get her involved and see what's going on here. We do have a few times when the sisters are together. I love the fun scene with at the sheriff's office with Nicole and Doc both being there. Because we get Waverly's fun comment of calling them, sneaky squirrels. Only Dom can deliver that line so perfectly there. And we also get the great hug with Nicole. The smush hug, as I call it. It's been got a great gift to use because that's not something we see the three of them together like that too often in the series. So that's wonderful stuff there. Also a little later when, Waves, is thinking about and wanting to see her mother, and Wynonna's the one to remind her that you're strong, baby girl. Again, another baby girl mention. I think we have one in, at least the first 6 or 7 episodes of this season, at least one. I mean, I know we get it many times in the series, but I remember making notes that it was happening. I was wondering if it was going to be once in every episode of season 3, but I do think they missed a couple. But great to hear her say that there, and also remind Waverly that she can deal with this, after so many years of wondering what it would be like as far as getting to see Mama again. And then we have the scene a little later on, after Waverly has gone to see Mama, and it doesn't go very well, when she comes in the sheriff's station, and Wynonna catches her, through the glass and sees her and says, uh-oh, sad Waverly. And she has a good exchange with her there, supporting her, hearing out when Waverly describes what's happened. But it's when Waverly mentions that Mama tried to kill her that Wynonna goes from, supportive sister to, I'm going to take care of this. She is so ticked off there. So good to see her supporting her and very much, going to her aid, so to speak, at that point. That's it really for Earp Sister stuff there in 304. And 305, as any of you who've been through the series at least once know, it's Jolene. Such an emotional episode. Such a powerful one. Such a great job done here to the topic of depression and all that's involved with it and what poor Waverly goes through here. We talked, as you know, about grief from a couple episodes ago with the loss of dolls, but this is in a different kind of emotion and in many ways, hurts quite a bit to watch some of it happen, but it's also so important to see it brought up and discussed and dealt with. We don't really have much interaction between the two sisters at all in this episode. As we know, with the whole Jolene and the baked goods, everybody's not themselves and things are happening. So while the Earp sisters are together in many scenes, it's mainly just cursory stuff for the most part, along with a few interactions that really are going to hurt Waverly, as many of the other scenes with other characters do too. But it's hard to watch, certainly as a fan of both of them. From early on in the barn, when Wynonna tells Waverly to leave because she's trying to deal with crazy Mama. In the greenhouse, the Gibson greenhouse, when Mama's giving a little information about Julian. Not much exchange there. And then back at the homestead, after Waverly, has, tried to deal with Jolene in the true demon form, punching her, and then getting crap from everybody for that, right down to the point at the kitchen table when Wynonna's the one to say, calling her Dorcas for attacking her. And then once we have the karaoke night, we get a little bit of fun watching that, but the interactions with poor Waverly there hurt quite a bit. You know, in the bathroom when Jolene is touching up Wynonna and talking to her, you know, touching up her makeup and all, and Wynonna calls Waverly half-sister. Oh man, does that hurt just hearing that again. And then when they're at the bar with Doc and Wynonna going back and forth, and poor Waverly's trying to, you know, jump into the conversation to help, and they both tell her to shut up. That hurts quite a bit too. But, you know, it does lead up to the very powerful Earp sister moment, if you will, even if they both aren't present. As we get near the end, when Jolene has poor Waverly, you know, beaten down to the point of where she's holding the knife, and you know, wondering whether to end it all situation, and she's so despondent right there. And what is it that pulls Waverly out of that? As you all know who've seen it, it's the thought of Wynonna. And literally that's what she says when she's got the knife in her hand, and you're not sure what she's going to do, and she says, Wynonna. Wynonna loves me, yes, always. And then she talks about Nicole and others, but it was Wynonna literally that saved her, even if she wasn't physically there at that moment, which doesn't surprise any of us who are big fans of the show. So a couple of very important episodes, some powerful stuff, but not a ton of Earp sister stuff as we just described. So still got lots more in season 3 to cover, though. So I hope you folks enjoyed this video. Looking forward to your thoughts. Feel free to jump in, video form, or just on Twitter, Facebook, whatever it might be. And I do really appreciate you folks taking the time to watch and to comment. The community aspect is what I love about doing these on this rewatch. So again, appreciate the time for you folks checking in, and I hope you all take care.
Hi everyone, gonna talk about the Earp sisters for episodes 304 and 305. Although these two episodes don't have a ton of Earp sister moments, these two might have some of the most important moments when it comes to their relationship with Mama and their past. What I took away from the first scene, we see them together when Wynonna is telling Nicole that Waverly told her about Nicole's past with the Cult of Bolshar is the way that the writers have developed these characters, and we see that there's so much that goes on in their lives that we don't get to see as viewers, and to me that makes me so much more invested into them and into their characters. And then when Wynonna starts to talk about Mama with Waverly, I like that they're both honest with each other about their feelings, and Waverly telling Wynonna that she doesn't know if she's ready yet. And this isn't Earp sister specific, but I love that we get to see more of Nedley and how much he's been in their lives for so long. When he shares the truth with Waverly, and telling her that he knows what kind of person Mama is, it was really special. And then, on the first watch of 304, I had a hard time in accepting that Mama was bad and that she really wanted to hurt Waverly. There were comments that she had made in other episodes that, made me think that she was more trying to protect both of them rather than hurt them. But, obviously I didn't know that yet on the first watch. And then at the beginning of Jolene, we see Mama actually telling Wynonna the truth and that what's really happened. And then also seeing Mama, Wynonna, Waverly together, even if it was under Jolene's fog, seeing them talk and just be together was really special for me to see. After Waverly confronts Jolene for this first time, we really start to see how powerful Jolene is and what she represents, and how it's affected Wynonna, and how she's mad at Waverly and kind of gives her that cold shoulder when Waverly hurts Jolene. And we also start to see how Waverly's being affected and how Jolene can change the way that we think others feel about us with what she says to her about Nicole. And I love that we continually see Jolene getting stronger throughout the episode. The scene in the bathroom when Jolene tells Wynonna, Waverly knew about Doc and Kate, and that line that Wynonna tells Waverly, half sister, it just hits you, it hits you right in the gut, because we know how much they love each other and that they would never intentionally want to hurt each other. And, you know, Wynonna recognizes that after Waverly leaves, but Jolene kind of encourages her that it's what Waverly needed to hear. You know, with the bar fight scene, we see all of these effects that Jolene has had come out in all of these characters. You know, and everyone has their own Jolene. Sometimes it's stronger than others, but, you know, we see when, you know, Wynonna and Mama are in the jail cell, that the effects are wearing off, and they begin to realize everything that they've done and they said, and they, you know, apologize to each other, and then they start thinking about Waverly. Something that I've learned recently, you know, from watching the show, and especially this episode, and then, you know, hearing Dom talk about the journey that she's gone on in her interview on the Tales of the Black Badge podcast, when it comes to Jolene, is fighting back to bring it back to the present and think about the facts. And again, not Earp sister specific, but in the jail scene, you know, Nedley stating the facts about who this Jolene person is very powerful moment for me, especially on rewatches now. Yeah, that's just a really powerful moment. You know, kind of the end, the culmination of this episode with Waverly. And not only is Jolene this demon after her, but what she represents can be so much stronger. You know, we have to keep fighting and never give up on ourselves and our family. And this episode just is so powerful and has given me so much. So yeah, bye.
Hey everyone, just want to jump in quickly with my thoughts on 304 and 305. 304, we get the lovely hug scene with Waverly, Nicole, and Wynonna, and I like it because it kind of shows off again the playfulness of Waverly and Wynonna kind of going along for the ride. It's kind of nice to see them in this before, obviously, we get into more of the darker stuff with Mama Earp. So anytime we get these kind of cute moments, I like to, you know, enjoy them while I can. And then, like Kevin said, we also get another moment where Wynonna is saying baby girl here. And I really love those scenes because just anytime Mel says baby girl, I just get goosebumps. I can't help it. It's just something about the two of them. And those moments where she says that always just like break my heart. But in 305, yes, we don't get a lot of just Waverly and Wynonna here, but what I really like about this episode is the overarching, insecurities that you kind of see because Jolene kind of, it shows a different sort of effect than the goo did for Waverly and Wynonna. And I like this because I like it brings out their insecurities in the sense that like Waverly's got that insecure of not really being needed or feeling like a sister. And Jolene brings that out even when Wynonna's like calls her half sister. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing to see how it manifests in each of them. Even Wynonna, she's like, why did I just say that? Like it that was mean. And I think that you kind of see this sort of, insecurities even through Wynonna where she feels like Waverly, it's her trust, right? Like her trust issues seems to happen where Waverly didn't tell her about Doc's wife. And I think it kind of is a neat sort of heartbreaking episode to see these two kind of go at odds, even though it's not really what they truly mean, but it's still that underlying, clearly it's there if Jolene could bring it out. And so I really like that episode. It's also one of my favorite episodes of the entire series, hands down. I just love everything about it. Also kind of Waverly at the end when she's really going through that dark moment and she's got the knife and just the fact that Wynonna is the first person that she's like, wait, no, Wynonna loves me and so I have to stay for her. And then she kind of goes through the rest of the list of people, but the bond of the two of them will always be the strongest. And that's something that, like, it just gave me goosebumps. And Dom played so heartbreaking but incredible. So, yeah, so anyways, looking forward to the next one. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, one quick thought from me was that that hug in this sheriff's office with Wynonna and Waverly and Nicole, I think that's the beginning and the resolution also to the Jolene episode at the same time, where surround yourself with people that affirm who you are and your value and remind you of what is true. And ultimately, I think that's the only way that any of us can stay healthy and sane, and just remembering that you have value and that you matter and your presence matters, and nobody can remind you of that better than the people that know you the best. So, yeah, sisters, they'll do that for you.
Hello, Jill here at Nedley's office. Yeah, so 303, 304, and 305. Just a couple scenes in 304 I'll touch on. One is, of course, the scene in the bullpen with between Nicole and Waverly and Wynonna, when Wynonna is questioning, wondering when Nicole was going to tell her that she was a survivor of this massacre. And I loved the exchange, the non-verbal exchange between the Earp sisters there, where Wynonna's tone was kind of teasing, and then you see Waverly out there like, don't, what are you doing? And Wynonna realized that maybe she wasn't supposed to tell Nicole that she knew about this, because that meant Waverly had talked to Wynonna. And so, this wonderful, and then Wynonna's kind of tone turned like, oh, and that, sucks balls. So that was just this wonderful nonverbal exchange between the sisters there. I also really like this kind of a little bit of bonding between Wynonna and Nicole over Waverly's large purse as she dug through it. And then, of course, the big hug with all three of them. That was just, Waverly is clearly the glue that holds those three women together, even though there is a mutual respect at this point between Nicole and Wynonna. But it's clear that both of those, both Nicole and Wynonna would go to the ends of the earth for Waverly. And that definitely holds them all together. And Waverly can get away with anything in their world, essentially, including bringing them all in for that hug, which was fantastic. And then the other one was after Waverly came back from the prison and was talking to Wynonna about how Mama tried to kill her. And before that, Wynonna was kind of brushing off, like, no, of course she doesn't want to kill you. But when Waverly said, no, she just tried, boom, that switch went off in Wynonna's head. Nobody threatens Waverly, ever. You don't. That's a line you should not cross with Wynonna. You threaten Waverly, you are now on the shit list. And you could see that transformation just come over Wynonna. Nobody threatens Waverly, ever. I do love me some protective Wynonna, and there she was in that scene. So let's go to 305, which was just this super painful episode in many ways, but a couple things worth noting here. One, I loved the scene where they're all introducing themselves to Mama in the barn, and they were Doc was trying to explain his relationship with Wynonna, and they're both Wynonna and Doc are kind of like, and Wynonna, in typical sister fashion, she's like, oh, I know how to get this attention off of me. I'm going to deflect it to Waverly. And she goes, Waverly, stoop in a cup. And, you could see this little eye roll from Waverly, like, of course you throw me under the bus in this situation. Thanks, Wynonna. I also loved in that, so that was just this wonderful sister thing to do. And I did love, though, in that moment that the scandalous part of this was that Nicole was a cop, not that she was a woman, but the scandalous part, the thing that she knew was going to get her mom going was it was a cop. And, you know, hey, Mom, talk to Waverly over there because she's stupid a cop. So that was just, I loved that scene, which sort of helped since the rest of the episode was a little painful. In the bar, when I know that she was hopped up on, like, Jolene brownies and all, but oh my god, hearing Wynonna call Waverly half-sister, still one of the most painful things in the whole series. Ugh. But it you know, it was made up for at the end when Jolene was telling Waverly, no one loves you. And it was really just moments after that this realization dawned on Waverly's face when she realized, when she was taunted with this notion that nobody loves you, that in her brain, it broke through the haze of, you know, everything else, that no, that's not true. Wynonna loves me. Wynonna loves me. And that's what brought her through. And of course it's Wynonna. It's always the two of them. And then, you know, at the end when Jolene was told Wynonna, you love me, and again, still hopped up on Jolene brownies, you know, Wynonna didn't disagree that she loved Jolene because of the brownies. But she said, but I love her more, meaning Waverly. She loves Waverly more. So even through the haze of depression, Waverly recognized Wynonna loved her. And through the haze of, you know, demon brownies, Wynonna realized that, you know, she loved Waverly more than anything. Yeah. So not many scenes, but really great scenes. Yeah. Great scenes. All right. Looking forward to next episodes. Keep on fighting for Wynonna. I have to feel like we're close. All right. Thanks.